Utopia. Utopia. And today's technology hosted by Johannes Kastner, bringing a global conversation discussing technologies that affect us
Hello and welcome. I am Johannes and I am the host of this show. Today I am here with Enrico Panay and we will be talking about various levels of how ethics and consciousness is connected, how they are entangled, these concepts of consciousness and ethics. And then we will go into talking about a very fascinating concept of semantic capital, of which Enrico Panay is an expert. And then we will go from there and we will talk about more practical aspects of what it actually means to build machines that act as if they are ethical. And then perhaps even go down to the state level of what is the role of the state or the regulator to ensure that machines in generally act as if they're ethical according to a particular society. And then we will likely close it off, or we will have some other side tangents. Okay, very welcome, Enrico. Let me introduce you really quickly. Enrico Panay is an AI ethicist and human information interaction specialist. Following his studies in the philosophy of information and a multi-year experience as a consultant in Italy, he taught for 6 years as an adjunct professor of digital humanities in the Department of Philosophy at the University of Sassari. Since his move to France in 2007, he has been working as a consultant for large corporations. Currently, in 2017, he studied strategies for cybersecurity awareness at the Institut National des Hautes Études, Institute for Advanced Studies in Security and Justice at the École Militaire in Paris. His main research interests concern cyber geography, cyber wars, latent cyber war battlefields, information ethics, cybersecurity, human information interaction, philosophy of information, and semantic capital, which is something we will also be talking about today. Welcome, Enrico. Let's get right into it. Hi.
Hi, Johannes. Happy to be here.
Great. Let's start this by talking a little bit about how this concept of consciousness, which I was talking with Utpal Chakrabarti about a few episodes back, how this concept is related or entangled with ethics. We have already speculated a little bit in that show, but since we're not, I would say that you're a greater expert at this than I am. And certainly Utpal is more of a specialist around consciousness, quantum AI, and so on, but not in this area. So I think, consciousness is basically, we can define it simply as the experience of being ourselves, as an experience, being awake, walking around, experiencing a dog and a cat and what these things are, and the blue sky and the and the warm breeze and so on. All of the things that ChatGPT talks about, but actually cannot ever experience. So that's consciousness. So it's missing in all of the machines. They're essentially, as David Chambers would say, zombies without consciousness, but very intelligent. So we can see that we can separate the concept of intelligence from the concept of consciousness. So now empathy clearly is directly related to consciousness, because it is a sort of a simulation of what someone else feels being them, essentially. And so there is a lot of connections between this idea of empathy and the idea of ethics in general. So not a particular ethical model or a particular ethical system, but ethics in general, that we have that we own, that is intricately related somehow with ethics. So could you tell us a little bit about that, and why machines can't just develop ethical? Why are they not ethical, basically?
Yes,
and why are
thank you. Thank you. You start always with the very easy questions. So the point is, I start with an example. There are some kind of exercise where you have to think to be an animal, no? To think to walk like a zebra or like a gorilla, and these are exercises just to recognize your own self in a space. They are very common whenever you do something. Maybe you know that in several martial arts they get inspired by the movement of animals. But in the philosophy of mind, thinking to be an animal, it's an exercise very difficult to do. Yes, it's true, you can imagine to be a bird, but because you do not have his embodiment, you do not have his structure, you never could feel what he's feeling. So, starting from that and the idea of you were talking about empathy, we could say that the fact to embody ourselves in a specific body, it shape our way of thinking, feeling about something. So at this point, would you say that, for example, for animals, we cannot have empathy because we will never feel as animals, even if we are more intelligent, and even if we have a kind of behavior that tend to protect and care of animals. So it's an approach completely different. So I'm just taking a very large way to arrive to the point of consciousness and ethics. So consciousness it's in my view, but as you maybe note, and do not feel an expert on the philosophy of mind, but the idea of not having the possibility to embody a person, it gives you not the possibility to have empathy to that person. So there is already a very distinction, and even not to make a distinction between humans and animals, it is exactly the same with genders, and that's why we have a lot of problem related to the gender divide that we have in our society, because in history the people who designed a build system for men couldn't be enough empathic with women because they just couldn't even imagine what they could feel. That's why we need women in the sector to give us as a collectivity this empathy. And this is about consciousness and empathy, and I'm going to arrive to the point of ethics. Ethics is something that is always related to somebody else. It's we can say that it's a bit like kissing. You need somebody else to kiss or to be kissed. You cannot kiss yourself. It doesn't make any sense. So just to it's a kind of social product. And if you go to see the etymology of the Greek word or the Latin word, they were always related to something social. So the ethos is related to the society, and the moral to the morals. So the something that is used to be done in society. Okay, it's quite never something very individual, and so we arrive also to this point. We started with consciousness and the fact that is a realization of the self and an awareness of the self, so something very individual, to something that is social. It's a relation with other, and empathy could help to maybe to project what the other could feel about something, but that's not enough, because we have a very specific ethics that is ecology that is made just caring of the environment, not to feel what the animals or trees or the nature could feel. So as you can see, we have three different elements: empathy, consciousness, and ethics, that are working on different floors, but they can, in a way, have a red line that connect all those points. So we could say that we cannot do ethics without a consciousness, or without being aware of ourselves, and at the same time being ourselves without interpreting the world with an ethical lens could never be enough to understand how we should behave with others. So these are, I think, the different level we are talking about. And I just take you one more minute just to make a difference that for me it's very important, and it's generally misunderstood by the majority of people. It is the difference between ethics and morality. There is a majority of people that see a difference between those elements. So generally assessing that or affirming that moral is more related to something personal and ethics something public. In reality, in philosophy, you do not see that difference. You use those terms quite at the same level, and they are just two different parts of the history of the Western culture. So ethics for Greeks and moral for Romans, and in some point in the history we started in the public dialogue to make this difference, but there is not a very difference. And I'm saying that because later maybe in our dialogue we can talk about what people feel about ethics and how they are interpreting it, and so the fact that they are bringing something individual and that we cannot share a moral framework. Anybody has got his own moral, and all problems are problems that are related with what we are doing every day, trying to build a common platform where we can build technologies. So the common platform, just to quote Wittgenstein, the riverbed of our ethics should be shared, so that the technology that are flowing on this bed will be shared by everybody and used a bit in the same way.
Oh, that's a really complicated problem, though, because there are, there are valid ethical systems that are contradictory to each other, right? So it's difficult to manage this common riverbed, and who should construct it and who should be responsible for it, and is it not paternalism if it's given by some central figure?
Yeah, you're right. But we do it. We live in a society. We kiss each other in a certain way, and so we need the other. We have to find a good balance for everybody to live in that society, and we always did it. What it was called the zone politikon, it's the political animal, and this is the difference with the zoon in Greek, that was only an animal. We are in social groups that and not just moving tributes or like a group of animals. We are just building social rules. At the moment we stay together, and we have a lot of example of that phenomena. We have religions there, a list of rules to share together. Yes, you are right. We shouldn't be paternalistic, but at a certain moment, at this very moment, we are dressing some dress because we are sharing a video, because we are accepting some values that are shared in our society. So the minimal values that we should accept should be found to build something else.
Yeah. So, but that could be a shifting meaning because, you know, in the past we had something resembling maybe something like a nation state, and maybe you know, empires, more than nation states actually in reality. But we had cohesive bodies that are now changing, right? So they're no longer the same bodies, and in fact, a lot of cooperation and a lot of building groups happens across boundaries that, you know, we call borders. The history of the, you know, the nation state is sort of coming through various levels of globalization, is coming to be not necessarily always the relevant boundary, right? So as boundaries change and incorporate more people who come from previous arrangements in different ways, you know, we have to become quite dynamic in building these ethical rules, right?
Yes, indeed. We have to, more than dynamic, I think that we have to make the voice of the periphery raise. That means that we have the tendency to have a language that has built in the northwestern, so what we can call with a big term, the North Atlantic, Europe and North America. But we have also a South Pacific, just to put in the other part of the globe, that we just need to listen to those voices, and once we listen to those voices, we can try to build something better. New Zealand is a wonderful example about it. They just created a framework with Maori, and that framework is something that is put together, it has got a values that is just more than the sum of two different cultures. So I think we can profit of the richness that we have at the moment.
So then I feel this is very much connected to the concept of semantic capital, actually, right? So because what you're building there is that, right? So the culture that comes, well, not just the ethics, actually beyond the ethics, right? The art and everything that's sort of related to this interaction, to this, you know, it's a cultural production, right? That you're referring to. Is that correct? And actually, could you explain the concept of semantic capital?
Yes, it's a concept that was developed, and it's a very new one by Luciano Floridi. I'm generally quoting him because it is one of the most famous philosophers of our time, and I'm glad I just finished to translate his last book in French. So I have a very great admiration for his work, and he developed the idea of semantic capital, and he was inspired by some previous philosopher. But basically, the idea of semantic capital is the capacity to enhance someone with the power to give a meaning or make sense to something. So he also reinvented a word about it, is semantize. That's a wonderful idea, the capacity to make sense. And this capacity is maybe one of the more important capacity we need, and even in a digital world. How many times you listen people that are doing their work, they do not know why they are doing something, they do not understand the meaning of their work. The capacity of understanding, making sense of something is very important in the informational approach, and the piece of information that you have, it helps you to give a sense or another sense about something. So in the example that Floridi made about the semantic capital, he also speaks about a concept that is a Greek concept, is the concept of anagnorisis. The anagnorisis is the moment where the history changed the meaning. So it was quoted by Aristotle in the Poetic, and you just to give an example more modern about in contrast with the example proposed by Aristotle, think about for example Star Wars. Okay, the real moment where
I am your father.
It's not true. That's impossible.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
No! No!
where Dark Vador said, "I'm your father." Okay, that specific moment is a piece of information. Okay, I am your father. That is changing all the meaning of the history before. Okay, and those moments are wonderful moments. If you had a good teacher in your life, and he could teach you, give you a piece of information that made everything change about your interpretation of life. So you said, "Oh, great! This is a wow moment. This moment is the anagnorisis." I think that we live in a century where we are drug addicted about anagnorisis. We need to make sense, and it kind of creates adrenaline and stamina to make sense of new stuff. And that's maybe why we have people that is changing the reality and thinking that the earth is flat. It's not because of a scientific driver, it's their need to make new sense of what they are living every day. And this making sense is the semantic capital. Now you have a semantic capital, so something that is a capital, it makes sense in a good way, but you at the same time have semantic waste. So a lot of information that you give to you the wrong interpretation of reality. Deep fakes in this sense, and you talked about it already, deep fakes are exactly that. They are giving you an information that is creating exactly the opposite, giving the wrong interpretation of reality. So they may be intended as semantic waste, and because they are semantic waste, they are unethical because they are making me interpret the reality in the wrong way. And so you see that ethics can be connected with this approach of semantic capital.
But they're not they're not unethical if you are warned and if you know it's a satire, or if you know it's just something that's meant to entertain you, and it's making fun of someone or something using their face. In that case, it's fine, right? It's completely because you know.
you are maybe missing one level. The semantic, the meaning you are transmitting somewhere is not related to the agent who is transmitting, but also to the receiver who is receiving. So if you are sending a message where you are saying that it's a fake, but the receiver cannot understand the fakeness of the message, it's still something that is unethical. I'm saying that because just to give you a very funny history, during COVID we had people who believed in the COVID and vaccines and people who didn't believe, and still we have those kind of people. But I had the opportunity to see a journalist asking to a Novax something about the fake news he was distributing. And the Novax was convinced of the news he was sharing. And so the journalist asked, "Can you show me the news?" And he showed the title of the news he was sharing, and the title was a new fake news about something related to the vaccine. So in the title was written that was a fake news. But he couldn't read that. He couldn't interpret that it was not a real news. So it was bad information. So we generally, people that studied, has got a good critical approach, has got the good semantic tool to interpret information. We think that everybody will interpret like us. That's not true. So, we have to always be careful to whom we are sending the message.
So the sense-making kind of thing. So that relates also to ChatGPT, right? It doesn't do that, right? It doesn't have anything that really... So there is something, again, about consciousness there, right? Or what is the difference between, like, why do we make sense and why don't robots or, machines make sense?
Yes, they make, let's say that they blend food and give you blended food. Yes, you can use it to eat and nourish yourself, but as a lover of good cooking, I couldn't eat every day blended food. You have to imagine like that. So for all the people that are a bit competent about how this technology works, on any kind of AI system works, they know that there is only statistics behind. There is a very good syntactic approach, so the structure is good, but it's an average of the meaning they found. So, for example, it was funny because a few years ago we were writing a paper with a group of people, and we were trying to demonstrate the American accent of GPT-3. It was interesting because the majority of the developers and the texts that they used to train their model were in English. It has always an American accent. So when you asked something in another language, we tested with several languages: Vietnamese, French, Italian, German, Spanish, etc. And the result were that the language were pivoted to English and repivoted to our languages, and so you had always a loss of meaning in that process. So they do a mix of a blend of what they found on the internet. So they give a solution that makes sense at the average level. That means that the first, just for fun, with a dear colleague that is now an ethicist at Hugging Face, Giada Pistilli, we just tried to ask the recipe of some Italian recipe. And that because we could say we are Taliban of the traditional recipe. We are very strict with our kitchen. We couldn't accept that, in particular, the carbonara, that is a very typical Italian dish, was made with fresh cream. It's not standable for an Italian guy to see that. So we asked the recipe, and because he mixed all the information on the internet, the first suggestion was with cream. And why that? Because the majority of the world, they do that recipe with cream. So it's just an average of the result. but you are losing the anagnorisis. The anagnorisis is the way a person that I invited at home and to whom I prepare carbonara for the first time, he look at the dish in a new way, and so it's the wow moment that we are doing. Those wow moments are very important, and they are made with the interpretation of what you are using or what you are meaning. That is very important, a singular of a culture.
Yeah. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. So these algorithms will not give you those wow moments unless maybe they pick up some literature that they were trained on. They could, but you could better get it from the original literature. You even know who it is that you're reading, because in this case also there is that you don't even really know whose work you're reading. So is this unethical? Is ChatGPT just through and through
And if
unethical?
I change it. For me, it's unethical, but I'll tell you why, and it's for another reason. It is unethical because you are making a robot doing box with a human. So that means not that it's unethical what is writing, that it can be very comfortable. You are writing a very stupid resume, and so is doing it for you. Okay, good enough. The point is not that. The point is that we human are going to read that. It's this point. We are overwhelmed by paper to be read every day. Okay? We are missing a lot of good stuff. In the future, this quantity will be a flood of meta-semantic information, so it make a bit of sense in some way, but we are reading for it. So I use to love an adage that say that we should write with our blood. Okay, if people write with their blood, they will think twice before writing something, and so it's a good relation with the people that is going to read, because time today is our blood, and so we have to protect our time. And ChatGPT is taking off my time for when I'm reading, but if I'm taking a piece of Python code and transforming it into JavaScript, that's wonderful. It's doing it for me. It's much faster. Okay, it's good enough. But please, let's start to write with our blood, and so to reconsider that when you are sending a mail, you have to write just one phrase with a message and an action, and that's it. When you write a report for somebody, just write a small report. I am not afraid of the student using ChatGPT for writing their paper. I am afraid of the professor writing the evaluation of students that a lot of parents are going to read. So, it's in double sense in this way. Then if you can use ChatGPT as the trigger to fight the white paper blockage that you have when you are writing, okay, it doesn't make me be worried about it. And I think that it can be a wonderful instrument. The point is, we should be very careful that we are not overwhelmed by the tsunami of information that we are going to receive in the next few months and few years. It's unethical.
So let me ask you this question. So this is all very fast moving. We're getting, ChatGPT 4, ChatGPT 5. They're innovating. These companies, OpenAI is innovating somewhere in California, and the whole world gets flooded with this idea, right? So it might be a wonderful tool at times. It might be unethical in other ways. And we don't really even get a say in it, right? So we say we value democracy, we develop, and then we have these corporations that impose futures on us. In a way, you could say this is a future, right? So we didn't choose democratically or even with government or so on. It was just sort of put out there, and now we all will have to live with it. What do you think is the role of regulation of this? Do you think that a place like Europe could, if they place some regulations on it, would be enough to actually have influence in other countries as well? Does it have to be done in each country separately? What are your thoughts on these things?
Yes, you are putting more subject topics on the table. First of all, I am a very optimistic guy, so I believe that in everybody in the world is working to arrive to a level where we'll be better. Because this is history, we are better today than before. In the past, we are living longer. We have problems sometimes, but we are also the ability to face problems and find solutions. And this is something that I strongly believe. This is about a paper I published with dear friends. It's Rowan Light from New Zealand. It's about the synchronization of ethical principles. We just suggested that the ethical principle about AI in general that are raising around the world are working a bit like metronomes on a elastic platform. You know the example of a lot of metronomes of an elastic platform. At the moment in time, they start to be synchronized. And this was what is going to happen. And it's going to happen with thanks to specific mechanisms that push these movements that are associations, open associations like can think of For Humanity. They can be standardization bodies, they can be companies, they can be individuals, they can be government, but at the moment in time we are going to have a kind of synchronization of this process. The point is talking about this support, the elastic support. What is the elastic support? And I think that this is the problematic point at the moment. It is about the language we are using to organize and to synchronize all those principles and to make a new step for governing the technology for the future. If you think that the digital revolution is very new and it's a very important revolution, I would say that it's similar to the agricultural revolution. Okay, not even the writing revolution. It's a big change in the way humans are relating to humanity, and that this revolution it's happening now. We, my generation, your generation, were born in an analogic world. The new generations only knows a mix of analogical and digital, and the more and more everything is digital. You will not have anymore the analogical world in the future, or very limited. So we are experiencing an enormous revolution, and in a few years, because we are the generation that came from the analogical to the digital, and we do not have the language. So I'm waiting, honestly. I'm waiting. I'm working. I want to build a better world. I'm bringing all my knowledge to do it. But at the same time, I have to be aware that in front of me, I have people that still didn't understand that we are completely changing the paradigm. So you are moving to an industrial world, to a semantic capital that is more important than the production effect. In the majority of our country, we work managing and organizing information more than building. And that's even if when you are building a car. There is a few people that are just putting together the pieces. All the factory around is managing data. Computer, robot, supply chain, logistic. There is only data. Okay, code and data. So we are living in a revolution that is very important. We have to manage it, and we have several points of pressure that are working to manage it. So that's to answer to your question. You will be good enough to manage this revolution? No, it will be good, but it will not be enough. Okay, it will be necessary, but not sufficient to do it. We need the society to understand the problem, other companies to bring the technological knowledge to make a good legislation. We have association to do the public part point of pressure. You need a lot of different people that are working in the sector to build something that will be good. But still we need to change the approach. Still, what I'm seeing in my day-by-day work is that we still use an approach from the industry. We still thinking about products and technology as something else. In reality, with AI in particular, we have a new kind of technology that has got an agency in the first time in history. So we have to cope with completely different ethical issues, and we have also to understand the digital as an environment and not just a technology. Okay, my autonomous car will not work because of the car. It will work because of the digital environment that we are building around the car. Okay, my mobile phone is not working because of my mobile phone, but because of Google Map that is inside, and Google Map is not there, it's around. So we have to change it, and yes, the regulatory will have to intervene to help us to drive and to steer the boat. Okay, and
well, this leads me to another question. Actually, the sheer number of people working on building some products, using AI, using all of these things, and building on top of AI, building new AI systems and so on, is quite immense. The number of dollars that are being sunk into this project, into these various projects and all over the place, also quite significant. Whereas to me, the legislation seems to be a quite slow process with different views, and they're all slightly ill-informed or actually extremely ill-informed, something in between to something, there's a whole distribution of how well they are informed, but they seem to be moving extremely slow. There are procedures, there's all of that thing, and whereas the development of AI is an extremely rapid process. Do you think that this is a mismatch since you're an optimist, which I find really refreshing and great, how do you think we will deal with this mismatch of just timescales and work effort devoted to this problem?
Yeah. So the legislation has always been like that. It takes time to write a law, and it is always arriving after something. Okay, because it's not inventing anything. So we can say that the law is generally has got a prescriptive approach. It's going to say what you shouldn't do, okay, to make harm to others. We have regulations that could just give the direction. There is another analogy that is that I'm completely taking from somebody else, and it's always fluid. It's saying if you are driving a plane, piloting a plane, the plane is going very fast, but you are not afraid. Okay. But if you are driving a car at night without light, the rapidity of the car is something scaring because you don't know where you are going. So let's come into account philosophy. Philosophy, in me, it's something very important to give a direction generally. Okay, not to say how to do stuff, but to see where we are going. Okay, what is our normative idea? What is our ideal? What is our utopia? Okay, we never arrive to 100% of what we are thinking, but it's just the direction. And you'll find it in the industry also. When you are coping with projects like AI trustworthiness, okay? The wrong approach is to think that you can create a product that is 100% trust. You can trust 100% a product. AI trustworthiness, it's about utopia. It's there. It's far away from you. You have to go there, and you have to make a process to go there. And so, what the regulation should do is giving those idea, and they already did with, for example, GDPR. They created the idea of the digital citizen. Okay, the digital citizen is somebody that has got his own information, not like a property, but like a self. Okay, my personal information are not like my car, but they are like my arm. Okay, they are like my hands, my eyes. They are myself. So, and this it came again in a philosophical idea. It's like if digital personal information are embodied in my digital individual person, and so you see that the regulation that a lot of people did not understand yet, the GDPR, because they only believed that had to add a button on each website to say, are you agreeing with the cookies or not? They interpreted GDPR like that, and it's a wrong way to interpret it. In reality, it's something else that it will make time to go on the industry, to arrive on the industry, but it's make a slow change that will be experienced in a few years yet. So even the GDPR is not at its max, and yet the idea behind is projected into the future, into a utopia of the digital.
Yeah, so this is a completely different kind of legislation or of a regulatory environment than what we're used to, right? You're not supposed to do that. You don't do this, don't do that. Yeah, very different. But it is also related to a bit of what we did with investment, right? So if you look at government investment in nanotechnology, for example, I don't think there would be any nanotechnology right now if it hadn't been for that, right? So this is something that was pointed out by Mariana Mazzucato. And I think, it's kind of a bit, it kind of goes in this direction, right? So it's sort of the governments are then basically responsible for setting the direction of what should AI do. And maybe the industry could be involved in that because they also have some good ideas. Some of them are there for very noble reasons, right? They're working in tech for noble reasons. There are some people like that. I mean, some people just want to make money, and that's fine. But there are some people who really go into tech because they think that, for example, they can make a big difference in healthcare or the way that healthcare is delivered, for example. And so they should maybe also be part of the discussions, because it feels to me that the government, the problem is with roles and so on. Is it really their role to have the expertise? They don't really have, there's this problem with expertise where do you get the expertise from? Do you have to hire them? They're very expensive for governments to pay for. So it's an ecosystem that has kind of to develop this utopia, right?
Mm.
And again, there might be different branches pulling into different directions. There's
Yes, yes. What we are missing in our time is maybe time. It's just the time to think a bit better, not just at the peculiar regulation for a specific process, but what in the global we want to become in the future. Why I'm saying that? Because there is a big change in the role we have with the job we do, in the role we use the competencies and the expertise we have, in the role we do education. Just to give you an example, we tended to specialize the education of children in the last 50 years. So the more and more the education becomes specialized. Today, a guy that has got to choose a university has got a lot of problem at choosing because there are so many specialized titles that it's difficult to choose something. And when they are studying and they are teenager, they are studying or mathematics or literature or sport or something else. We wanted specialized people like in the industrial revolution. We want it's so deep our industrial revolution that still we give contract for 8 hours per day. Okay, why are you okay? I could understand that if you have a relation with the public, you say 8 hours in front of somebody, but in reality, we know that when you are doing intellectual jobs, you can solve a problem in 2 hours, and those 2 hours have the values of maybe 3 or 4 days because you were studying, reading, etc. So we are still concerned about it. So we have to change a lot of stuff, education, accepting that people with the lower capabilities, they have the right to exist. So I do not see in a good way people that say, yes, we are losing some kind of job, so we convert to specialists of AI. No, there are also people that will never become specialists of the AI, and they have the right to live in our society. And at the same time, we cannot say you are not prepared, you will work 8 hours. We have to accept to give more time to everybody. Why? Because we have technology that are taking us time. So 8 hours today correspond of 40 hours per day 50 years ago. Because if you think of people in the 60s or 70s, they had the time just to stop working, go home, have their time, disconnected for everything else. Okay, and we are still in time with all the technology we are giving to people. So what a government in Europe should say, okay, we are maybe to rethink our relations with European citizen. The European citizen should have more time. Students at school should study philosophy and mathematics, not only mathematics or philosophy. And we have the right to take longer time for us, 2 months vacancy and then work again. We have to re-elaborate our relationship with the life in a completely different
but
way.
the political
And this,
the political realities of making such big decisions collectively with various different parties that are into each other's hairs, right? It seems that we need a different political system which we can also not arrive at because we have to have these politicians be involved in that. And so I don't know that we will ever get there. I mean, this is me becoming very pessimistic looking at what I'm seeing in the world.
Yeah,
I used to be an optimist also. I still am in many different ways, but I am a little bit, I'm getting a little bit more pessimistic when I look and see what politicians do in the houses of governments around the
yeah,
world,
I
and
see.
and how they interact. I cannot see all of this reworking that needs to be done, and I agree with you. And it's beyond that. It's like climate change, and we have to rework our energy. We have to rework all of these things. Education, every little sector in the entire system has to be completely reworked, right? But at the same time, we have this old political system that can't be reworked. So you see, this is another mismatch. I don't really, what do you?
Okay, you're talking. Where are you based
I'm in
now?
London.
You are in London. In London, it's in Europe, and even if we had Brexit, I think that it's like a short separation of a good couple that will last for centuries. Yeah, but where the idea of Europe was born. Now, if you think that it is an idea that was born in a parliament, you are wrong. The manifesto of the idea of Europe was born in Ventotene. Ventotene is a small island in Italy where in 1941, we were in the middle of the Second World War, and two guys, Altiero Spinelli and Ernesto Rossi, worked on this idea of Europe, and they were prisoners. Okay, what you are living today, Europe, was done by two guys in a small room in a little island as a prisoner during a war. Okay, ideas can be so small, and what we are talking now today, it's so small. And when you are talking to people and just putting grains that you will see flourish in the future. So I'm not afraid of it. We are thinking that the parliament should have a solution. No, it will be maybe two persons that are taking a beer in a bar and they are talking, and we'll see a revolution in 30 years for sure. A new Europe, a new idea of Europe, or maybe something that is listening to us in YouTube, on YouTube would say, "Oh, that's a good idea." Do not think of big monsters that are making ideas. Ideas are always starting in a place you will not expect of. So here at the moment, so let's be a bit optimist and try to build a new Europe, or maybe for our children in
I
the
love that
future.
idea. I'm on board. I'm on board with that for sure. I mean, I'm also a huge fan of Yanis Varoufakis, who speaks about as ideas on this, and I'm tuned in, and I'm aware that there are ideas and they're out there. It's just that the fight has been so devastating. So to see some ideas, but you're right. The European Union was born in a quite humble way, the idea of it, and it was possible to do it. So it's, yeah, we might be able to. So this is that's beautiful actually. This show is published Wednesdays at 2 a.m. on the West Coast, 5 a.m. on the East Coast, and 10 a.m. in London. Please like everything that you enjoy, give it a thumbs up, and give us comments about things that you liked, things that you don't like, and things you would like to see on the show, ideas that you may have for the show, people whom you would like to propose me to interview. Next week, I will be meeting with Christian Wilk, and we will be speaking about a topic that is becoming more and more pressing, which is the singularity.
We all know that Ray Kurzweil is the one who coined the term and made it famous through his book, The Singularity is Near. But actually, the term goes way back to the 50s. The famous John von Neumann